There we go. Maybe if I move my mic over, people will actually be able to hear me talking into it. What's up, everyone? I see we got some certified legends here already. Michael Torin, Lyric Bread. You guys can probably hear the cat crying out as well. Yeah, he's definitely crying out. Come on, buddy. Come and show the people your wonderful, floofy belly. That's what we're all here to see. How's everybody doing? We have Harvey from North Texas. Where in North Texas are you from, Harvey? Always curious to know. I feel like I've spent a lot of time driving through there. And West by God, Virginia, right here. That's awesome. in the come on, man. Come over. It's totally fine, buddy. In this true John Denver fashion right there. And Trogception, hope your weekend's going great, mate. I hope everybody has recovered from NAMM. Who went to NAMM? Anybody? Tell me about it. He's just going to be singing for the rest of this. I haven't pulled this guitar out for a while. Yeah, buddy. Definitely. I don't know how many videos I've done with this since I've changed the electronics over. So, Sir Doug Aldrich humbucker and a Duncan 59 over here. So, took the Fishmans out. The Fishmans were cool. I think I just kind of prefer this particular setup. Oh, what's going on there? Well, that needs to be fixed, doesn't it? Anyway, back to my questions. Shout out to, where did that thing go? I meant to click on that. I assume it's pronounced Tiago Zielinski in Brazil. Hope you're well, mate. I would love to come and visit Brazil one day. It's very high on the bucket list up there. And Noise Bloom is about to get a bunch of rain in Cali. Waiting to see videos of that Friedman vintage amp. So am I, because you know, like everybody else here, you probably watch Tone Talk, and I've heard Dave talk about that old Plexi he has. So if it's a kind of pound for pound recreation of that old thing, it would be pretty cool. Hey, Torin, did you get to try the Soldano preamp that they're reissuing, the X88IR? Be very curious to hear your thoughts on that. Where are we here? We were talking about big intervals the other day. Love that CB to F lick in the solo. Gonna steal that. Hey, come on, big dog. Where are you? The other one that's like totally, I mean, this to me is just straight up Steve Vai, Edelman Smile, something. That whole song and dance. Let's try some boogies. God bless John Sykes and have some beers. Exactly, mate. Exactly. So Harvey P said, give us a scoop on when the FM3 is getting that 5150 stealth model. I don't know. You know, people know that I'm a tester, but I don't have any knowledge about the internal workings. When something comes out, it's just like, hey, here's a thing to test. So apparently they're working on it, and, you know, they were working on the FM9 one for a while, and it's pretty darn solid. So what did Torin say about the X88? But it's just a matter of time until I have one. Of course, right? Like, it's made for you. And I just want to give my buddy Damon a shout out. Everyone send him some love in the comments. Many good memories of blasting Megadeth riffs here with Damo. So getting back into the axe, as I understand. Have you ended up getting that dream Washburn again, mate? Let us know. When are we going to make to the US? As soon as possible. I might have an overseas trip coming up next month, actually. Nowhere near the US, but just I'll keep you all posted. You'll see things about it. You know, I'm definitely one of those people. I don't like jinxing things where it's like, oh, it's definitely happening, and then, oh, hey guys, this is why it didn't happen, because I'm an idiot. Any plans to reissue the rewound CD? I actually have been going through some of just cleaning stuff up, and I found a bunch of old T-shirts, and I know we've probably got some stowed away. They're probably with my in-laws, so I might just actually hit them up in the States and say, hey, do we have any CDs left? Because the last time I was there, I bought a bunch of them back, but they've sold. So we probably should. We probably should. It's a very popular one, and you know, if people actually still like to buy CDs and they're at a show or they're on Bandcamp, they're going to buy pretty much everything you have. So yeah, I need to have a kind of look around, or send me an email, Ian, and I might have just one or two kind of kicking around that I can find and send one out. Alrighty. I have never been to Nashville, strange days. I understand it's quite a good place to go if you like your live music, so... Ah, man, it's so fun playing this guitar again. This guitar has been around the world and back a couple of times, to say the least. So it's done probably the guitar I've played the most on tour, even more than the SC. And it's pretty slinky, but it feels very good to play. Let's see. There we go. I made Michael Toran buy something. This is the first time this has happened this way around, and not you convincing me to buy something. Man, the DP4, it's a bit of a thing, hey. I was very, very surprised, especially with the modulation effects in there. I feel like what I expected from it wasn't what it was. You know, knowing that Ensoniq were popular because of their synth stuff, I was like, well, it's going to have, you know, a bunch of kind of dreamy reverbs and delays and things like that. But the, like, you know, dare I say, analog sounding stuff like the phases and flanges were very, very good in there. So I reckon you're going to very much enjoy that one. Have you tried what's the other 4-in 4-out thing? The Kawai RV4, Torren? That's a bit of a rare one. Yeah, man. Bub 2010, it's a bit of a thing, isn't it? Especially the rack stuff. This one from Eric Olson. Always surprised me when players tap a lead, something that sounds incredibly intricate and all over the neck, but it turns out one or both their hands are anchored. I mean, prime example, Michael Romeo. You know, if you like his tapping stuff, he does a lot of stuff where the right hand really doesn't do that much. You know. And the left hand's... I just forget that tapping's such a great technique. It's like, oh, look at all of this. Still occasionally buy CDs. This is from Noise Bloom. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I've got so many CDs. It used to be my weekly ritual would be, you know, at the end of the week, go down to JB Hi-Fi or something and blow $150 on albums. And now they're all sitting in boxes. So this one is from Jimbonius. My thoughts on Satchel from Steel Panther, aka Russ Parrish. Amazing player. I've seen them live a bunch of times. Just very, very fun. Like, you know, if you have anything resembling a sense of humor and you like rock music and you haven't seen Steel Panther, it's worth it. It's like 50% the best hair metal band, 50% comedies. So, yeah. And Russ is amazing. Like, great player. So, yeah. Even though it kind of seems like a joke, his playing is definitely not a joke. The one arpeggio Satch does in the Mystical Potato Head Groove thing, that is a song that as a younger kid, I was like, why did he name a song the Mystical Potato Head Groove thing? That's so dumb. You know, why didn't he call it like, you know, Dragons of Valhalla or something? But now I get it. And I'm totally the sort of person who would name something Mystical Potato Head Groove thing. Great song as well. Come on, buddy. You can all hear the cat just absolutely serenading us all. Tenacious D meets Weird Al meets Rush. Yeah. meets Tenacious D meets Weird Al meets Van Halen meets Rush. Oh, the square vinyl things you would get. I've still got, my old band has a bunch of those magazines with the square vinyl still in it. And, you know, like Yngwie, yeah, probably have that one with Mystical Potato Head Groove thing. There's a lot of the Satch stuff. And, you know, again, it sounds like the dumbest thing ever, but Joe Satriani, pretty good at guitar. Lots of great licks to steal. I think it's easy to overlook the impact those guys had for people my age, because growing up it was like Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, Paul Gilbert. They're kind of like they're a bit of a secret, you know. They're not Tom Morello or the guy from Linkin Park. So yeah, and a lot of his, you know, like a lot of that stuff. 100%. I just was like, oh, Joe Satriani does this. I should steal this. Not the best singer, though. And, you know, that's fine. At least he has a crack. But, you know, I don't mind Steve Vai singing. All About Eve is a pretty cool song, and I like his vocals on there. Steve's very much got the Hendrix thing going on, where he's a very serviceable singer. And then you hear Richie Kotzen and Ian Thornley, and you think, wow, these guys are pretty amazing at guitar, and they can sing like that. What is going on there? Thoughts on bands like The Night Game and The Midnight? I really, really like The Midnight. I've been listening to them since their first EP came out, and it's kind of cool to see that synthwave stuff become very popular, which is pretty awesome. Did I end up seeing Vibe when he came? No, I missed it. I think I had a gig, which is pretty much the story of my life, you know. Playing to people eating their squid rings, and you know, your biggest influence is there playing a show. Have I seen the Satriani jamming with Van Halen yet? He played on the Howard Stern show recently. Yeah, I did. And you know, it's like every other person on YouTube was telling Joe how to play that part, which is fine. But bro, you're not Joe Satriani. You know, cut the guy some slack. He probably was like, oh crap, I got to do this thing on Howard Stern. Yeah, I think this is how it goes. And you know, then you get, you know, Sammy Hagar 420.69 forever on YouTube being like, well, actually, Joe, this is how it should go. Michael Toro knows about the squid rings big time. Yeah, Kotzen, Nuno Betancourt. You know, there's a few of these guys where they've just got it all going on. You know, they are just elite, just absolutely elite. I've really been into playing Whitesnake lately. Reassure me that I'm going to be okay. Well, hey, I've been playing Whitesnake since I was about 15, and I turned out okay, right? So you'll be cool. Just make sure you go and listen to the first 2 Blue Murder albums as well, and get some of that in you. Song if you're any good. There was some John Sykes gear for sale in LA recently. What was he selling? I'm curious about that. And did you buy any of it, Torrin? Come on, big boy. Come and show yourself to the people. It's all right. You don't have to hang out by the door. Yeah, very, very curious. Squid rings, fried calamari. So this is the squid rings story, right? If anyone's familiar with, I'm going to dob them in right now. The band The Baby Animals from Australia. So their drummer, ex-drummer and ex-bass player They do a Creedence tribute act with Ryan on vocals. And Frank, the drummer, once quipped about playing cover gigs in Perth. And he's like, you're up there playing and you got to turn it down and everyone's just sitting there eating their squid rings, not caring. So that's what a squid rings gig is. When you're playing the gig and it's like, no one cares that you're there. They're just more interested in their fried calamari. So, yeah. Hey, really? Really? That bad? You just need attention that badly. Anyway, cats. It's awesome. Unpopular opinion, Kiss is horrible. I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. I'd say you'd find a lot of people who share that. You know what? Kiss are both horrible and awesome at the same time. They just are. It's how it is. And, accepting that fact, holding those two contradictory thoughts in your head is part of the point of rock music. You could argue that rock music's just terrible, bunch of like adolescent nonsense with people who refuse to grow up, but then why would you want to grow up? So here's a fun bit from Ceradrill Gatormi. Did you know that George used a GE7 band into a Rockman X100 in sidechain, then to a Fostex X15 to get the tone in under lock and key? Amazing trick for you guys. I didn't know that. I've always wanted to know how he got the sound on The Hunter. That's maybe my favorite George Lynch tone. I know it's, probably multi-tracked with a clean Rockman over some Marshalls, but that's pretty cool. That's very, very cool, actually. Tauren, what was Sykes selling? One of his 2C pluses for $12K. I mean, it's owned by John Sykes. That's kind of cool, and it's a 2C plus, but that's excessive. I've never really heard you play Kiss. We every now and then cover Lick It Up, so come and see us at Glamfest in Melbourne, and you might see us do that. What Kiss song is that? No one's named the Whitesnake song from before, or have they? They haven't. Hang on, I've got to go all the way back. What did we have here? We launched into deep space. Yeah, I mean, it's just 70% of the internet, isn't it? Hey, Bruce is awesome. Bruce Kulick. And I know Lick It Up was Vinnie Vincent, but let's just forget about that whole kind of thing. But that era, the unmasked stuff, especially with Bruce on guitar, I think was pretty awesome. You're going to break my heart again. Correct. Somebody had to bring it up. This one comes from Rummy. I have not tried the Cali Tweed. It looks pretty sweet. Again, if you're going to get a boogie, they're going to be doing the thing very, very well. Would love to try one. And, here we go. By the way, I saw a Gary Moore concert from 2003 and thought Ragdoll should do Rectify. That's off the Scars album. Hey, that might have been one of the first times I ever listened to a dual Rectify, because I got that album when it came out. And, yeah, I remember reading an interview where it was like, yeah, we did this song called Rectify, because I had a rectifier that I was playing through. It's just like a heavy blues thing. Bruce's solo in Tears Are Falling. Yeah. Now we're talking Pete Bruce. That whole era of Kiss I didn't get for a long time, but now I just kind of unashamedly love it. So nice Vinnie Vincent evasion. I'm gonna steal that one. Do you remember the solo for Black Flag? King's X? I don't. I've never really sat down and learned any of Ty's solos, but he kind of does a thing. A lot of them. You see some cat right there. I like the short lead run in Love Gun. I mean, can you imagine what it was like when that song came out? Can you just imagine how very, very, very cool it would have been to hear? like the theatricality of it. It's I guess Kiss are like one of those bands that they're probably responsible for 50% of people who have ever really got into rock music. Like every other person you speak to, you're like, oh, why'd you get into rock music? They're like, Kiss. I went to a Kiss concert and it was the greatest thing I'd ever seen. So yeah, Love Gun are pretty cool. Love Gun is pretty cool. Kiss are pretty cool. You know, good band. I'm gonna play So I was playing that that Whitesnake song before in Drop D. I'll play you something. Let's say heavily inspired by it.
Takes a lot to know, selling yourself short. Dig another hole to find yourself a home. All I want to know, can you find a soul buried in the sweat of blood and cold confusion?
That one's pretty fun. Very, very fun indeed. That one, I feel like it's taken me 6 or 7 years to actually figure out how to play that properly, but it's getting there. It's getting there. Play Shot in the Dark. Yes. I'd have to remember how to play that one. It's like B, you kind of tune down and kind of tune up sort of thing. And this guy knows. He knows the Sykes and the Norm exactly. Two of the very, very big influences. And I stepped on the wrong expression pedal. I stepped on my volume pedal instead of my wah. Let's see. John Sykes uses a wah that acts as an EQ filter. Yeah, his neck pickup sound is just... whew, whew. It's something else. Playing Bark at the Moon poorly while listening to pure cacophony. Oh man, that's I can hear that in my mind's eye right there. I know of two generational that got me into music moments: Beatles on Ed Sullivan and Kiss Alive. Sometimes wonder what the subsequent ones were for millennials and Gen Z. I reckon for millennials, and hear me out here, it's Guitar Hero and maybe Through the Fire and the Flames, because that was like the big Guitar Hero song. Nowhere near as generational, because you're not just like, it's not just film, television, radio. It's like film, television, radio, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, internet porn. What else is there? Twitter, internet porn, YouTube, internet porn, Twitch, internet porn. Like you're kind of competing against all of these things. So yeah, but Ed Sullivan Show, that explains a whole generation of people. Kiss Alive also explains a whole generation of musicians. So yes, and if I did a mini studio tour thing recently, if anyone wants to check it out, and I'll do a guitar tour pretty soon. I've got 2 guitars getting refretted at the moment, so when I get those back, I'll do the guitar tour. Would Troy do a video on his amp miking, EQ, and compression approaches? Well, I'm going to see Troy later this afternoon, actually. He's coming up, he's bringing his kids. We're going to have a fat afternoon, and yeah, maybe that'll be a good video to just go around to his and just do it. Grunge era was great for Gen X. Lots of people played Plush poorly. Myself included. I'm not exactly Gen X. I'm probably technically a millennial, but yeah, man, that riff is good. Mark Diglio, yeah, he's been putting up videos on his YouTube channel. It's really, really cool. I'd like to actually get him on the Gear podcast. That'd be pretty sweet. Don't forget us non-boomers and non-Gen Xers. For me, it was My Sharona, Sultans and Swing, and Talk to You Later. Man, the Tubes, how good is that solo on that song as well? That's amazing. Yeah, and also, let's not forget about Van Halen 1 and Blizzard of Oz either. Imagine hearing Crazy Train for the first time. It would have been mind-bending. How about a Troy studio tour? I think we should do this. I think we should just do a dedicated episode and go through, and that'd be pretty awesome. So it's nice to see Troy getting some love on here. It's been very, very fun doing the podcast with him. I think we're close to 50 episodes now. So yeah, maybe eventually he'll start his own channel just on audio stuff, and we can have all the crossovers on there. It's pretty fun. Your Ensoniq video got me super excited today. I was looking at the DP Pro and thinking of buying one. I've been toying with the idea of the Eventide H90, but that Ensoniq sounded glorious. I mean, look, the Ensoniq is awesome. The H3000 is awesome. An H90 is going to be way easier to use. You can probably cop a lot of those sounds, but then you can cop a lot of extra stuff, like the poly pitch stuff on the H90. Look, give me 1 second and I'll plug it in. Let's turn that on. I think, yep, there we go. All right, and we're back. I've got a dedicated patch on the switchblade for this. The thing that I've actually low-key been loving with the H90 is, one, they just put Bluetooth out. It's funny because I shot a video with it yesterday. Where's my stinking guitar sound? Where are we at? I gotta use this cable. Cables everywhere. Let's all have a drink. So, what have I got going on? I'm gonna grab the iPad, because in that way I can steer the H90. Been waiting for this for so long. I'm very, very glad that they finally actually put this update out, and got the Bluetooth app cooking, and they added some new routing modes on there. So let's do this. And why is that upside down? That makes no sense. Okay, here we go. Let's connect up. So what do I have at the moment? I should have... So yeah, the Ensoniq stuff, the old rack stuff, Michael Toren will tell you it's awesome, but you got to invest in a lot of other things to make the most out of it, you know? It wasn't until I got this Sound Sculpture switchblade I was like, rack gear is actually convenient when it's all set up. So let me do this. Where's my big fuzzy thing that I've been playing around with? Okay, so what do I have here? Probably a clean sound. Where's my clean sound at? Who knows what's going on there? What do we have here? Well, this is just working perfectly, isn't it? Am I on the right patch? That's always the question. You know what? I don't have the cable pushed in properly. Here we go. So, clean-ish sound. And then I love the poly pitch stuff they've got on there with fuzz. You know, you can't do that on a vintage rack thing. And some of the, the newer, like, polyphonic pitch stuff, like... arpeggiating complex chords. What else have we got on here? And there's a new polysynth algorithm, and like the Univibe sounds awesome. It's kind of got everything, and you know, there's an iPad app. It's a great unit if you just want some really fun effects. So, and yeah, Rummy knows about the Trower. I should grab the Strat. There is the Strat. Now that we're talking about Trower, let's pop that there. And the not Hentor Sportscaster. The slightly more off cream, so there we go. I always forget this part. That. And yeah, the classic. Anyway, that's very fun. And then yeah, you have super cool stuff like that's actually the exact patch ported over from my H9 that's on if anyone's listened to Playing God or they've listened to my theme music, the arpeggiator thing at the end, that's what it is. So that's pretty cool. How much of the Eclipse do you get out of the H90? There's a pretty good question. I have the H90 in my rack, and I have the Eclipse in my rack for a reason, because they're a little bit different. The H90, and again, this is one of those things like, if you know about the Eclipse, you know, but it is also a little bit unwieldy compared to something like the H90, which is a small pedal, and it's so guitar player friendly. So yeah, I think if you wanted an Eclipse, the H90 is going to scratch some of the itch, but not all of it, and vice versa. There's things the Eclipse does that the H90, like basically the reverbs. The reverbs on the, look, I'm going to turn the Eclipse on. We need to talk about it. It's so good at what it does. Look, I'm even going to put the reverbs on the Eclipse above my PCM70. I love the PCM70, but I think the Eclipse does some things that you can't get out of those old lexicons. It's different enough to the H3000 as well, because you can run 2 programs. You know, realistically, if you're a guitar player, don't spend a bunch of money on an Eclipse. Get an Axe-Fx, because that will cover pretty much all of that stuff and loads more. You can do so much more. But if you've got an Axe-Fx, you know, and you want to augment it with some kind of old school rack gear, like the Eclipse kicks the shit out of everything else. Like the H3000 has amazing character. The 2290 is a great delay, but it only does delay. The Eclipse, it eclipses pretty much everything that came before it, in my opinion. If I was going to put forward a single space rack unit that I would say is like the best, then I don't think anything else is really going to do what that does. So let me do this. Let me just bring up the switchblade patch on it. I think this is it. Let me just reroute something very quickly. I need to go through here and actually set up the levels properly on this as well. I need to cut a bunch of gain. All right, let's see. Where are we at? There we go. Hopefully you can hear some reverb there. Let's just bring the level up. So what you're saying is I need to put an H90 rack housing. Oh my God, Michael Torin, please do that. That would be amazing. Amazing. I mean, if they came out with, you know, because the H9000's like $10 million, right? And it's basically like 8 times what the H90 does. It'd be really cool if they put out a rack that was maybe like just double an H90, like a double H90 rack, or even just an H90 rack. There's probably enough people around where they'd sell like 15 of them. Which I always find, you know, I love this whole rack stuff, but when I see the kind of rack Facebook groups where people are like, nah, just look, Eventide just need to do the H90 as a rack, and you're like, you know, they're gonna, if they did that, all the people in this group would just complain that it's not an Eclipse or an H series. They would just not buy it. So they'd tool up, they'd make it, and they'd sell like 15 of them. So yeah, anyway, the Eclipse, like this is the PCM70 Hall, just a preset. The great thing about the Eclipse is the sound designers did such a good job. You can use it like you use an old lexicon or something. It's just a preset machine. Like this PCM70 Hall is such a good reverb. Let me turn my voice off. Hopefully people got the little Fates Warning reference in there. One sec. Okay, we're back. So that's cool. What else can the Eclipse do? There's a program on there called Manifold Beta, which is... Oof, let's bring that one up. PCM70 Hall. I think it is... So there's like one of my favorite sound-on-sound Frippatronics patches ever. I don't know what it's doing, but it just does. And you can set it up for spillover if you want, which I don't think I have at the moment. So the vintage delays algorithm has this parameter in there called texture, where if you turn it to basically turn it on or turn it off, whatever it is, it just gives you that old rack delay thing. So it's very like PCM42. I mean, that's just voiced perfectly, right? So there's some 80s cleans for you. Hey, Bob's in here. What's up, man? We're on the Eclipse. I'm thinking of you actually with this vintage delays. Feel free to share anything you feel like sharing, but yeah, it's that is just, again, like, I don't think I've heard anything better out of anything that came before this. You know, like the old Roland SDEs and things like that. They're very, very good, but the Eclipse is doing them. Some dirt is pretty rad. Let's see. Let's turn that thing off and this thing on and this thing on over here. And the tone control down. Oh. Fat switch, yeah. That's pretty cool. How there's also one of my favorite chorus tones ever. Come said the boy, Mondo Rock. There's a patch on here called Mondo Chorus. Where is it at? Okay, here we go. So. Heavy Brettle, you'll know this one, mate. Whoa, why is that so hot? What is going on? Let's turn that down. There it is. Oh man, that's so good. Let's go. Yeah, that's what we want. We want some sizzle. Clean right there, isn't it? And Duran Duran's Save a Prayer. Yeah. I actually don't know how to play that. I should. Far out. Talk about awesome 80s tones. And Cole just ordered an H90. That's awesome. I hope you dig it. There's some amazing things on there. I'm gonna I need to clean up my H90 patches a little bit, and I'll put them up on my Patreon for anyone who wants like the whole thing, which is pretty cool. But also, this is very... Let's see. What did somebody say about a skate park? Ooh, there's a new skate park in Banksia Grove. That's pretty cool. I have not even heard about it. Well, I might have to just be that old guy rolling around the park, not doing anything pretty soon. Maybe when it cools down a little bit. I mean, today's nice and cool, but where are we at? Damo. I saw someone say about skate park in Banksia Grove, not a bad one on the corner of Ventura and Ocean Reef Road. Man, that one is the one that got me back into skating, funnily enough. So good. Also, the moment I realized I'm too old for this shit because it's so slick. And there's a very small half pipe which got me back into dropping in, and then next minute I was like on the big half pipe. But yeah, where there's that kind of box, I just forgot what it's like to fall on your tailbone. So that was nice and painful. Yeah, it's getting close to the Trevor Rabin chorus, big time, big time. And the Toy Matinee, great album, and Christopher Cross. How does that? Fans in here. I just bought a setup, gonna see what bones I can break. Oh man, it's literally. So Cam and I got back into it for a little bit 2 or 3 years ago now. Start of the pandemic, it was like, oh, Perth's fine, so let's get into skating. And we went and bought setups at the whatever the skate shop is at Whitford Shopping Centre, and they've got a skate park in there. So I got my setup all ready to go. The third minute of rolling around in there, I was like, oh cool, there's a little kicker ramp, I'll just go off that. Went over, my board went sideways, primo just ate it, and I was just laying there like, what is this? Why does my shoulder hurt so much? So that comp sounds super heavy. Yeah, it's literally just a filter into a compressor. It's massively smashed. Something that's not that. You want less compression and you want an amp. I'll let you hear it with just like a clean amp. So there we go. Less compy. Where are we at? Now this is a good question. What was Sykes using for all the Whitesnake clean stuff? Was it I think it was an old 60s Strat, but I don't know, it might have been a Kramer or something like that. Yeah, don't go break your bones in a skate park, everybody. The mini bowl at Amberton, I can say, is pretty good. I did go to that one. That one's pretty fun to roll around in and, do some rock and rolls in, which was the one lip trick I knew how to do. There are some killer 80s tones and Loaded Weapon, funny film killer session on guitar. Yep. The Hellenbach. Man, we're just talking about skate parks in Perth. Who remembers Cherokee? Remember that? That was peak. That was peak for me. I love that place so much. I landed my first 360 flip at that place. That was a good day. I also knocked myself out cold. Definitely got a concussion there. And my friend's mum wasn't picking us up for another 5 hours, so I just rolled around with what I thought was just a bad headache. So me brain no work good because of that place. Anyway... Rummy, how to get started with an Axe Effects. They have so many products, hard to know where to start. Very, very good question. The primary thing is obviously like, do you want something in a rack, which maybe primarily will be used in the studio, or do you want something on the floor? I think the FM9 is probably just the don't think, do it option, because it's got more power than most people will ever need, and it's got all the controls in there. And they just added gapless switching to it and all the new amps. So, yeah, the FM9 is very much the perfectly seasoned porridge, in my opinion. So that's that would be the, like, if you got the money for it and you're unsure, just get the FM9. FM3 though, I love how compact it is, and it's basically what I've been using live for the last 4 years now, which is pretty mental. And yeah, it's only got 3 foot switches, but you can assign them to be whatever you want and have multiple functions, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, probably one of the FM units. Again, if you got the money, do the FM9. They have mentioned that they're going to have stock for the FM9s again pretty soon, so hopefully the wait list isn't too long. Question, what is the liquid sound in here? It might just be, it's either the plumbing, or it's just, there's a door over there and a road. So, it may just be that. So, yeah. Anyway, we got some Perth locals specking out skate parks here. How many of the FM9 presets did you delete because you're never going to use them? All of them. I actually just, because I've got them all on the Axe, right? And I've, that's what I primarily use here. So for, there you go, Bob. It's the Eclipse. I thought there was a weird noise in the room. So, yeah, the Eclipse, the Eclipse rules. There's even a patch, which is called Bulge Tails. So how good's that? Jonathan McCullough. I'm about to grab the Soldano Astro. Love my camper, but it ain't no Soldano. I want to run it through effects return on an amp. Can you foresee any problems? I don't think so. That should be totally fine. The Astro has a built-in, like you can run it without a speaker, which is kind of cool. So you could technically just use the preamp and run it into another power amp, which I am going to do a video on with my Syn 5050, which is pretty cool. And thoughts on the Soldano IR? Pretty cool. I'll be very interested to see what it is priced at, because it looks amazing, and I'd just be very curious to know how it's going to compare to the Astro or like a Synergy SLO module. So, yeah. Firmware Friday is in full effect. Tales from the Faucet. Yes, exactly. Exactly, mate. Yeah, the chorus stuff in here is really, really good. One thing that I did, some of my favorite reverbs ever are in here. Sounds like 2590. Yeah, it does, right? It's kind of crazy, A, that they're still making them. They're over 20 years old, and that they're still priced there. But they're just good. The converters in them are, I sound like such a wanker. Like, the converters sound superior to other things. But yeah, it's a very, 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 very good unit. And let's see, what was I going to do? I was going to bring up a patch. Where are we at? Let's do this one. So, no, that's not the patch that I want. I've got too many things going on. Where are my clean sounds? Here we go. No, that's my dirty sound. This is my clean sound. Here we go. Okay, so that's just a band commander in the Axe. No more Eclipse. This is all Fractal. Like that reverb, what is that? The Rich Hall, Mechanics Hall. Sounds so good. But one thing that you can do on the Eclipse is you can put it in expert mode. You can go into the reverbs and you can see what the delay times are for all the reverbs. Let's do this. Window. Here we go. Let's add Axe Edit. This is what we want. Check that out. I love StreamYard. So this is a reverb in here. But what you can do is there is a block called the Plex Delay block. Obviously inspired by the Eventide stuff. So essentially, like, what is a Plex, Leon? It's the feedback network of a reverb. So if anyone's familiar with how reverbs work, you have these unitary matrices that determine the way the delay lines are fed back into the thing. So if you kind of remove some of the, essentially think of the reverb as like an early reflections part, and then like a three-stage thing. Like you got your early reflections, you got your kind of modulation and tail stuff, and in the middle you got a Plex. Very, very crap explanation of how reverb works. Nevertheless, you can come in to this Plex delay and edit the delay times in here, right? So, one fun thing, actually they're now included as factory types, but Occult Verb 1 and 2 I basically just took settings from the Eclipse and recreated them with this. Now, this Plex sounds different to the Eclipse Plex, but man, it sounds good. That very smooth, liquidy chorus thing. I'll turn my mic off so you can just hear it. I might turn the level up as well. So you can kind of cop some of that vibe using this. It's its own thing, though. Very, very nice. Very Eric Johnson. Or very Triumph, as somebody has just said in here. Leon showed me Cacophony. That's... man, this is... we're going right back. Right back here, Damo. So... let me just kill this window in here. So yeah, look, if you've got an Axe Effects, you probably don't need an Eclipse. You can recreate a lot of this stuff. They're in my blocks library and they're free, so that's pretty cool. Man, that's funny. I remember, while we're reminiscing, Damon, this is one of my favorite memories. So I kind of became aware of Metallica and Rammstein in year 8 because of Damon. We used to sit near each other in maths class, and we had a friend called Previn. And one day, Damon did the Metallica logo on Previn's bag, but instead of Metallica, it was Metalli Prev, and it was like just a very good recreation of it. And yeah, then I remember sort of going, oh, hey, you know, like this guy who used to be Metallica had his own band called Megadeth, and I remember showing him, and he was like, man, what's with this guy singing? And then a few weeks later being like, dude, how good is Megadeth? So I'm going to just grab a different guitar, and while we're reminiscing about classic thrash, I'll play this one for you, Damo, because it's one of my favorite rhythm guitar parts ever, and I finally learnt it recently. There we go. And yeah, Cacophony as well. Good times. Where are we at? It's like, how good is the verse in Holy Wars? That's not it. Love the show. Marty is definitely the GOAT, man. Tornado songs, right? Let's actually try it. And then what is it? It's oh, man. I'm not the biggest Countdown to Extinction fan, but that song definitely hits hard. No matter how many times I hear or see it tabbed out, I'm never 100% sure on whether those Holy Wars intro triplets should begin or end on the beat. Yeah, is This is a 5150 Stealth, by the way. It's so good. Euthanasia was better. Yeah, I dig more stuff on Euthanasia than Countdown now. So, but that's just me, you know. The first couple of albums there, Chris Poland, man, underrated. I also love Dave's singing is like olives. Once you learn to like them, you can't live without them. Yeah, he's pissed off incarnate. It's so good. And Bob, we're talking about delays. 20 seconds of decay without sounding grainy. It's pretty amazing, considering all the things we expect modern modelers to do, how good the reverbs are. And it's very easy to get comparison analysis, right? Where you're like, okay, cool, it doesn't sound exactly like a 224, or it doesn't sound exactly like a, you know, Sony DPS or something like that, but they have their own thing going on. And yeah, I'm so impressed with, you know, let's go to something clean. If I chuck on the, where are we at? What is it called? The Stratocumulus. You know, you have this gorgeous thing without any kind of weird metallic artifacts. Like, that just sounds like heaven on earth, right? I've got a pitch detune after it as well. That's why it's a bit moddy. My God, that's good. I really like, there's a new type called Ursa Major, which is a pitched reverb, which is just... Actually, let's do this. Turn the mix up a bit. Yeah, this is so good. Yeah, that on a lead actually is pretty wild. You know, this is for Bob. With that all day. That is very, 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 very satisfying. Is that a cool riff, is it, Troy? What brings you to these parts, mate? If you haven't caught the rest of it, Tondi, people want to know, A, how you mic up guitar amps, and B, when we're doing a studio tour of your studio. Of course I have pitch detune, I'm not a savage. It's always on there. It's just always there. There we go. Indeed. And Martin, what's up? Everyone send Martin some love because he's loaned me his JVMs and a bunch of other fun stuff. And I got a 5150 EL34 head the other day. Mate, let me know. I'm so keen to try that. That sounds awesome. I love the sound of that detuned chorus. However, it is sometimes hard to sing over. I have to ignore it, which, yeah, uses the bass as a pitch. Yeah, man, Simeon's somebody I would love to just pick his brain, or like, he's someone I'd love to see a masterclass on, like, ambient guitar sound design, because some of those presets, actually I should bring one up, shouldn't I? Let's see, it's like, there's very few people whose presets I hang on to. There's Matt and there's Simeon and there's a few others, but let's see, he put out an interesting, where are we at? Here we go. He put out some new stuff recently. Andoria, that's the one. Like, this is just play a note and see what happens. And what's up, James? I hope you're well, mate. I was reminiscing the other day. So we were talking about Megadeth and Cacophony before. I'll get back to playing this awesome patch, but I had this CD, and I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was clearly just a Shrapnel Records compilation. And I don't know if Shrapnel did it or it was a bootleg thing, but it had far out. It just had like a song by pretty much everyone on there. So the first thing on there was Racer X Frenzy, which rearranged my brain cells. I was like, what am I listening to? No one can actually play guitar this fast. There was a Marty Friedman solo song on there. There was Perpetual Burn. There was a James Murphy track on there. There was definitely a Vinnie Moore song on there. You know, it was just kind of like 15 Shrapnel songs on there, which were kind of cool. So I do just want to say, James, it's wild that was kind of the thing that got me into, you know, stunt guitar, let's say that. I just couldn't get over the intensity of the way everyone was playing on there. And, you know, we were talking about the Ensoniq DP4 the other day. I imagine you would have, if you were using one on those albums, that would have been, you know, a contributing factor to the tone. So, yeah, it's a pretty cool roundabout thing. And obviously, a big fan of you playing. And if you ever want to come on the Gear Podcast, we would love to have you. Speaking of the Gear Podcast, this is Troy's mic setup over here. What can I play for you all? How good is this? I'm going to turn my mic off so you don't hear the open string noise. This granular stuff is awesome. Kelly, is it a Cetraro or Ketraro? I apologize because I've definitely done it the wrong way at least. So what was I going to say? Ampero 2-stage or the new Headrush Core. I think, like for me, I think the nice thing about both units is they're pretty easy to use. So you can kind of get up and running easily enough. The thing that I like about the Ampero are, if you're like a rack tragic like me, there's some really, really solid modulation and delay effects in there, which are amazing. The reverbs are very, very good as well for what it is. And the form factor is nice and small on there. The Headrush obviously is like it's old 11 stuff, which 11 is totally fine. The reverbs are good. There's some air stuff in there. It feels a little like hodgepodge to me. That was kind of the main thing where I was like, there's some really good stuff in here and there's some really good practice tools in there actually. But yeah, for that kind of thing, the Ampero, like I really like the Ampero. I like the JCM 800 and the Mark series model, and it's like they're doing some really, really good stuff. But what Rummy said would be like an HX Stomp. An HX Stomp is just like, it is the standard thing. The advantages of that, right? It's like a Toyota Corolla. You can find them everywhere. You know there's going to be a bazillion patches for you to try out there. You can watch all of the John Cordy videos on it and just learn so much about how to dial in sounds and also try to steal all of John's awesome licks. And yeah, the price is pretty good. You know, there's the limitation of it being 8 blocks, but plenty of ways to work around that. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. I'm just going to catch up on the chat a little bit here, everybody. So anyway, to answer Kelly's question, I'd probably go the Ampero out of those two, but yeah, HX Stomp is a super solid choice. So back to James, DP4 used heavily on those albums. It would be cool to join the podcast. Awesome, mate. I'll be in touch. We need to do it because I'd love to. Well, I'm a fan. You know, it's a nice thing being able to do the channel and do the podcast and chat to people who, you know, were for me part of my guitar journey along the way. So I imagine just the website has a contact form on there. I'll send you an email. So, alrighty, where are we at? Chicken Beak, hearing Cacophony. When they came out, I was like, man, if those dudes got into a good thrash band, and then Marty joined Megadeth, and the rest is history. So good. Love the R84s. Use 2 on my violin and drum overheads, and they're the most natural sounding mics. There you go. That's awesome. Have I tried the updated Friedman amps? Okay, let's do it. Let's just bring up a patch. Where's my 5153 patch? Over here. Let's just drop a Friedman into it. My personal choice is the BE version 3. This is the one that sounded the most like the IRX to me. So I imagine it's going to sound pretty good. That's not bad. Little bass heavy. Give it a bit more kachungus over here. Maybe a preamp boost. All right, now we're cooking. This is pretty cool. It's cool. It has that Friedman smooth thing. I think I much prefer the Atomica for that kind of thing. Like, this has more hair. That's pretty good. I do like that. Yeah. So we just got a couple of 4038s. Tondi. Nice, mate. Very nice. This one is from Steven. For tones alone, is it worth switching from the Quad Cortex to the FM9? It's always a hard one to, recommend somebody change what they've already done. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what I will say to anything. If you were using an old Line 6 rack pod and you were getting great tones, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I say this all the time, is like, if you've got amps you want to capture, the QC makes so much sense. If you want to be able to use the touchscreen and things like that, makes so much sense as well. A lot of it is laid out really well. The thing that drives me nuts about it are the foot switching assignments on it. You can't do what you do on the Fractal stuff with like tap and hold things, and you can't just like assign anything anywhere. So from a like actually using it practical standpoint, it's awesome. And the Fractal effects library is just ballistic. Very few units can compete with it, except maybe the Line 6 stuff, because they've had a similar amount of time developing their effects library. So yeah, look, if you want to go out and make guitar noises, it's all pretty darn awesome. It's sort of like I always think of the Fractal, it's like the first among equals kind of thing, right? There we go. Discovered your channel from your Friedman IRX review, bought one after watching, as well as a few other positive reviews. How are you liking it? It's very easy to get that sound out of it, which I like. Actually, I ran it into my Synergy Power Amp the other day. Troy's got it at the moment, so he can weigh in on how he likes it, but running into the Synergy Power Amp was sick. I really liked that on there. You got my name right the first time. I appreciate the response. Awesome. Keep us posted with how you go, and happy tone chasing. This is the James Murphy. What a time to be alive, So yep, there you go. You can, there you go. Send James some love. James is pretty good on the guitar, right? We were talking about cacophony before. I need to play the lick, which is really the only lick I know. It's about as far as I got with playing cacophony. Where's my main preset? I need some gain and some delay. What does it do there? That is not how you play it, Leon. Whoops. Play that intro from Racer X Sacrifice. James is digging the IRX then. Whether or not yeah, it's the thing I like about it is you got the boost there, or you can, you know, put an SD1 or a tube screamer, put something in the loop, and it's like, this is easy. Play that intro from Racer X Sacrifice. Okay, Troy, let's do something. Let's go Racer X Sacrifice tap. There's a it's that diminished thing, right? So let's see. This is on the fly. I've definitely learnt this once in my life before. What are Okay, so it's a diminished thing. What does he do? Does he tap that? Yeah. Something like. Just some brutality right Man, they're the hard parts right there. What on earth does it do there? I'm going to attempt to play. It's down a half step. All right, well, let's just do this live. Why not? This is kind of fun. I like embarrassing myself. Let's go Racer X Sacrifice. And I'm going to tune myself down with my... There's a really cool video of Bruce playing that somewhere in Japan, actually. Let's see how we go. I'll tune myself down with the axe. Oh my god, what is that lick? This is incredibly fun. Just yeah, Bruce was amazing. Their guitar tone was so piercing it was uncomfortable. Oh no. Yeah, this is kind of cool. We have I'm a Korean FM3 user who watches your videos in Korea. Thank you for the videos. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. That is awesome. The song name is Sacrifice by Racer X. Now, all string skipping. That's annoying. Very, very annoying, Troy. Maybe he does tap at the end. Okay, let's see this. What happens here? Who plays that lick? It's probably a Bruce lick, right? Thanks, Bruce. This is very, very easy to play. Let's do this. Okay, here we go. So this looks like a sweep thing. That looks like a... Where are we going? Like a G major? Okay, that's not the worst thing I've ever seen. And it looks like he kind of does a little the turnaround thing there. So. There's oh man, this thing, how Racer X is hard, and this is all harmonized as well, which is just an extra layer of amazing. That like the pick attack on there is so awesome. You know, it's going between these two keys absolutely sucks. Thanks for that, Tondi. The other... It was all great until Jeff's scream. All guitarists work in warehouses. Yeah, why not? What a great time. So the best Paul Gilbert lick is definitely this one. Tondi, you know what's coming. So the... What is it, like nines or something? Oh boy, yeah. Intense Rock 2 on the Ghost Rider. That's the one. That's the one. The other great one is the... that whole Intense Rock intro. Trying for. I also really like his chromatic 3-note per string thing that he does. Very clever way to do that, where he does a string skipping 3-note per string, but goes to a lower string. Yeah, all the... I've got to stop rolling this controller. Paul has the very, very long hands. Very, very long hands. This is really, really cool. I always like to know this. Palavin Ghost picked up the guitar recently. I hope you're enjoying it, mate. It's a lot of fun. It's a good time to be playing the guitar. What did Scott Brockway say up here? There was a question. Never really got into Michael's playing, to be honest. It's like he's amazing at what he does, but you know when there's like players you like for me, Paul Gilbert, John Sykes, if someone turns around and says, yeah, they don't do anything for me, it's like, okay, they do a lot for me. Michael's just one of those guys that just, like, his playing's incredible, but you know, there's nothing about it that makes me want to keep listening to it. It's it's fine. Like Freight Train by Nitro is a thing. They kind of pushed it big time, but at least with like all the guys I like is like, Paul Gilbert, like he's got these cool licks. It's not just up and down. Michael's obviously amazing. Nothing against him. It's just, I have other more favorite players. Prefer Mick Mars and John Norum. Norum's a very, very underrated beast, isn't he? Like, all my pentatonic licks are just John Norum licks that I've stolen. All that kind of stuff. Yeah, man, face the truth. solos on that record are Billy White's. It's actually... I can't remember how to play that solo on there. Icon, wow, that's a band I have not listened to since I was illegally downloading music. I got an Axe Effects because of you. Thank you, that's awesome. Sean Lane is GOAT. Need I say any more? When I first met Troy, yeah, exactly. Tonda, you tell him. That was one of the things. He showed me Sean Lane. It was like, bro, have you actually ever watched Sean Lane? And I remember you watch the way Sean Lane picks with the, you know, everybody else, you kind of hold the pick that way. He sort of has the George Benson style, like, holds the pick that way. That's how Troy used to hold a pick, which was interesting. And there's the... Sean Lane got me into the Hammer On From Nowhere thing because he has that lick. And obviously... Sean's touch is pretty special. Very, very special player. Pretty awesome. Axe Effects with the Matrix Cab, pretty good. I was doing that for a long time. Very, very nice. Amsterdam by Van Halen. I don't know that solo, but man, that is a tone right there. And we're talking more Shrapnel stuff. David T. Chastain. When do you ever hear about David T. Chastain anymore? I'm pretty sure that Shrapnel compilation that I had some Chastain stuff on there, so that's pretty cool. All right. I'm going to bring this up from the ashes. Crash and Burn, that's the song. Dark and Crash and Burn. Let's see if I can remember this lick. And it's probably an E flat. Thanks, Don. Let's see. Here we go. Go and listen to that album. It's very, very good. They are some killer licks on there. Tony McAlpine, yeah, man. Dawkins' Shadow Life album, man. I think I've only listened to that once. I then recently turned on to King and said, when does Doug sing? Pretty similar, actually. Hey, that's pretty cool. Chris Oliva solo, Edge of Thorns. This is pretty interesting. This is a very, very good question from Bob. What is the most popular thing that your guitar students ask you to teach them? Normally it's like, bro, how can I shred? Surprisingly, it's mostly like, hey, I want to be better at improvising and phrasing. So, yeah, that's basically it. My younger students either want to play Periphery, Polyphia, or Steve Vai. So it's kind of cool that Steve has crossed the generational gap there. And then, yeah, sort of maybe some of the older students, they want to learn Van Halen and Rush and how to solo over backing tracks. So yeah, that's a pretty interesting question. Guy Man Dude. Troy and I have done duo gigs as the Guy Man Dudes before. So yeah, all right. What I'm going to do is I'm just quickly going to grab a different guitar. And I'm going to bounce. I'll play you all maybe I'll play you another Ragdoll song. We'll do Rust, because people seem to like that one. And before we do that, yeah, Sean Lane was in Black Oak, Arkansas when he's 16. Go and watch the solos from that and what he's playing in like 1978. It's on another level then, which is crazy. I appreciate that as well, Bob. So this is close enough to in tune. All right, I'm going to play you guys Rust. Have a great day, and I'll see you all on the next one.